Hey, I'm Alex with Marc Mobility. In this video, we're going to show you the differences between the styles of Permobils. Stay tuned. There's two different main styles that Permobil currently has right now. They have a mid-wheel drive and they have a front-wheel drive. So mid-wheel is always going to typically now start with the M, and the front-wheel drive is always going to start with the F. Now they do make a few different front-wheel drives and a few different mid-wheel drives, but let me just go over the drive configuration first with you. So a mid-wheel drive chair is going to be when your large drive tire is going to be typically right in the middle of the unit, and you're going to have swivel wheels on the front and the rear of the unit. So mid-wheel drive is going to have your tightest turning radius because everything is going to turn around the center point of the chair. It also helps with certain people in their equilibrium when turning. But mid-wheel drive is going to turn the smallest amount of space. So mid-wheel drive chairs are most popular when somebody's using it inside or outside if it's at least on a firmer, compact surface. The other version that Permobil has is called the front-wheel drive. That's the F series. Now the front-wheel drive chair is going to be when your large drive tire is almost all the way towards the front of the unit. And now you may see some of these with anti-tip wheels in the front, like a little 2-3 inch wheel in the front for your anti-tips. Not all of them are going to have that, but really you're going to notice if somebody was sitting in a chair and you were to look basically straight down underneath them, if their drive tire is right underneath them, that's going to be a mid-wheel. If it looks like the drive tire is a little bit closer to their knees, that's going to be a front-wheel drive. Now a front-wheel drive chair is good for outside. Reason being is the main wheel that has all your power is going to be the first thing that's hitting objects. So for tracking and going over, climbing over thresholds or smaller objects, front-wheel drive is going to be the way to go. Now, front-wheel drive does take a bigger area to turn in a circle. So do remember that, yes, you can use an F-series chair inside, but it's not going to be as small as what you might see in turning radius as a mid-wheel drive chair. So do take that into consideration. You can take mid-wheels outside. You can take front wheels inside, but a front wheel is better for outside. A mid-wheel is better for inside. Now, we get tons of calls. People say, I'm primarily going to be using it outside, but I will need to use it some inside. Hey, I would say the front wheel drive is going to be the best unit for you. Somebody else calls us and says, hey, I live in an assisted living facility. I'm in somewhere that needs to be in a little bit tighter spaces. Mid-wheel drive is going to be the unit for you. But do remember, mid-wheel, you can take it out on baseball fields, so that kind of compact type grass. I wouldn't recommend going in soft bottom, sand, things like that, because you do have those swivel wheels in the front and the back, and when you go in softer surfaces, sometimes those will dig, and if they dig, then your drive wheels are going to spin and you may get stuck in place. So that's kind of the advantages and disadvantages of a mid-wheel versus a front-wheel drive chair. Now within the front-wheel drives, I'm going to go with those first. They make an F3, they make an F5, and they make an F5 vertical standing. The F5 vertical standing and the F5 are the same base with just better electronic systems on the unit. So an F3 is going to be a little bit smaller than an F5 in width and in total length. The advantage of an F5, you have a little bit wider wheelbase and a little bit longer, and so you're going to be at a faster speed. The F5 can go up to 7.5 miles an hour if you have the anti-tip wheels on it, and the F3 tops out at 6 miles an hour if you have the anti-tip wheels on it. So speed is the first factor that people look into. You can get a more aggressive tread pattern on the F5 than you can the F3. And then also your seat functions. You can have on these chairs electric recline, electric legs, electric tilt, electric seat lift, anterior tilt. But the seat lift on an F3 is a 12-inch vertical rise. On an F5 is a 14-inch vertical rise. So do remember that you're going to be you can sit 2 inches higher and you can go about 1.5 miles faster with a more aggressive tread pattern if that's the option you decide to go with. Now on the Permobils, the F5s, they do make a vertical standing version too. And that is a unit that the whole seat will actually take somebody. You can have a chest brace and a knee block, and it can actually put a person and put them into a standing position. Now do remember, if you haven't stood in a long time, do consider doing a bone density test first and consulting your primary care doctor to make sure that's going to be a good unit for you. But you can, on the F5 series, get a standing version. F3, you cannot. You can get the seat lift, the tilt, the recline, the legs, and the anterior tilt. And then light package is optional on both of those units as well. Now on the M series, it's the same thing like the F series. The M5 is going to be a bigger version than the M3. Just like we talked about with the F3 and the F5. The M5 is a little wider, a little bit longer. Same thing with the seat lift. M5 is going to be a 14-inch seat lift. The M3 is going to be a 12-inch seat lift. The M5 tops out at 7.5 miles an hour, and the M3 I think is 6.5 miles an hour. So the M3 is half a mile an hour faster than the F3 because you don't have to add the tip wheels to it. It comes standard. You cannot get it without swivel wheels. For safety, it has to have the 6-wheel configuration on it. And just released about a month or two ago, Permobil did come out with the M5 vertical standing. So just like we talked about with the F5, you can get an M series that is a vertical standing unit that has the chest bar and the knee brace to be able to get you up to a standing position. So overall, to recap, the M5 and the F5 are the bigger version of the F3 and the M3. So do remember that there's not as many on the market, so they're harder to find. They're going to be a little more expensive, but both the F3 and the M5, the M5 and the F5 are going to have the 14-inch seat lift and go at the 7.5 miles an hour. The M3 and the F3 are going to have a 12-inch seat lift optional, and then they're only going to go to the respective 6.5 and 6 miles an hour. So what you want to look at is how high you need to go, how fast you want to go, where you're driving the unit, and what's going to best fit your needs. So here at Marc Mobility, call us. We'd be glad to discuss this with you to really decide what's going to be the best option for you.
Hi, I'm Mark.
And my name is Alex. We're co-owners of Marc Mobility.
I started this company in 1995.
We sell many products, not just what you see in this video. If you have any questions or concerns, please call us at the number below at 800-677-6293. Thank you, and have a wonderful day.